Welcome back to SL Chennai Speaks Out. Yes, ma'am, you had a question. I mean, do you buy that line that, advertisers are just being truthful, they don't violate the code at all?
Advertising has just become a money-making business nowadays. I myself have tried so many products.
What are some of the products? I mean, at least you don't have to
Yeah.
give us brand names, but you can tell us what products.
I have used a fairness cream, but instead of getting a fairer, I've got pimples and oily skin.
Dr. Maya, she used fairness cream and she got pimples and oily skin. So probably they'll give her another cream to use to get rid of those pimples, right? More money.
See, what you must understand is even to buy the fairness cream, I think you need to consult a dermatologist then, because fairness cream
don't buy it over the counter.
Yeah,
but it doesn't say, right? It's not like a Schedule H drug. No, should not
that's
to be bought over
exactly.
the
They
counter.
come under the brand of cosmeceuticals, which means they are cosmetics, but which are known to work like drugs. But they are not governed
in reality,
by FDA.
Doctor, in reality,
yes,
everybody goes and buys fairness cream just like that.
That's right.
Over the counter.
See, that's what. See, most of them don't know what are the constituents
so they don't
of the
inform. So the
fairness
advertisements
cream.
don't inform you.
That is a problem.
So the ads don't inform you.
The ingredients are not listed on these products.
It is not just
That is a
fairness
problem.
cream. I think we are being very partial towards fairness cream.
what
You have the hair growth
benchmark.
oils, hair growth oil treatment, and then you have the weight loss.
So let's go to hair growth. I want to ask doctor, since you're a dermatologist.
The
one second, doctor. One
yeah.
second. See, now they say hair regrowth treatment, hair oils. They promise you, lustrous hair and all that cure for male pattern baldness. We all know it's to do with the testosterone levels in the body. And even dandruff, for instance, dandruff shampoo. None of these shampoos which claim to cure dandruff actually have the main ingredients, which is salicylic acid and coal tar. But they still are marketed as dandruff shampoos. What do you feel?
See, what I feel is it's basically to distract the consumers. In fact, I sometimes even find that it
So
delays...
the ads are misleading and also distract.
It delays actual treatment which might work for them. But it's up to the consumer to use their brains. I don't think they should just be carried away by the ad. Ad is the skill of the marketing people as well as the manufacturers.
Deception, in other words.
Deception. But it is up to us to decide. And sometimes that's when I feel that they need guidance either from the public or some educative forums or from their
But you are saying on SL Chennai Speaks Out, Dr. Maya Vedamurthy, as an eminent, in fact, dermatologist, you are saying don't buy these creams over the counter without consulting a doctor.
Yes, exactly.
If you do, it is dangerous. So you like that girl, you will get a whole lot of side effects.
Exactly, you don't know, you might get side effects.
Do the creams say on their packing that certain side effects are possible because they are supposed to under the law?
No, they don't
even list the chemicals.
I want to ask Sharad and...
See, the problem is they don't even list the ingredients. That's
Yes.
a very sad part. In fact, I think that's because we are being dumb.
No, that's because he's being honest. He's saying he's being truthful.
They should fight for their rights.
You see, as an advertiser, as an advertising agency, when a client comes to me with a product, I'm not going to say, wait, let me test this product for 5 years. Let me
What
do
is
all
R&D all about?
The R&D is done by
the fact that they get away
by the
because-
company, not by the advertising agency. Okay.
So, which means any brief that you get from a thing, you don't really do, you don't take your own call. I mean, you just go ahead.
No.
So at the end of the day, it's all about money, is what she says.
It's not a question of money. It's a question of when someone comes to you, you trust the person for the product.
Sorry. You're bothered about money package.
As advertisers, do you sometimes challenge the manufacturer's claim?
Of course.
How many cases has this happened? How many cases has this happened where you've challenged the manufacturer's claim?
I'm saying if there's any claim which relates to a specific function.
Only one, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, I think there's only one claim which was challenged, which was reported at least about a particular brand of hair oil. The imagery used was of leaves falling, suggesting that that particular oil could arrest hair fall. That's because the R&D department of that particular company objected. But you had a leading ad agency in the country. How often do you come across claims which are rejected by agencies?
Quite often, but in the sense that if it's not going to work in the marketplace, that's one of the first simple tests. Is somebody going to say, is the large part of the population going to say, I've got pimples? It's bad business. If one of the things companies are paranoid about, which unfortunately doesn't happen enough in this country, even one consumer letter in any decent company which comes in complaining, there is hell to pay.
500 complaints as opposed to 12,000 in the UK. So people are not really complaining. 500 complaints per annum.
Nobody complains. Nobody complains. In fact, companies are quite keen.
I think
Companies are quite.
Yes, ma'am. Please take the mic. Take the mic. One second.
Don't react.
Product, for example, any fairness cream, it's a matter of 20 rupees, 30 rupees or 100 rupees. The product is too small. Whereas when you go in for bigger things like a washing machine or a car or something, the response is better and the consumer is more irritated with the money he has spent. So, we can always afford to what do you say? Yeah, not bother about the fairness cream, even if it is half used, or even if it's one. Yeah.
For a low value product,
Yeah.
you do something far more dangerous for the company. You stop using the product.
Yes.
Okay, and the company doesn't even know it.
Okay,
so
Shekhar, I want to ask you.
You take a far more punitive action on a small
Shekhar, the
product
responsibility-
where you don't
the
feel
responsibility
you
is-
don't want to
Who has to
complain.
take the responsibility? I will not do it.
Exactly for the same reason as to why companies are in business for profit. That is the most dangerous thing that could ever happen to a company.
Alright.
Somebody not using the product and you don't even know.
The company should
I have
have
another
feedback.
question,
It's the
actually.
job of a company to have a feedback. Point one and
Yeah,
point
I
two.
have
When we
another
are talking
question.
about Pepsi and chips, they all stir the impulse. The job of an advertiser is to stir the impulse. You just tell me when a urban kid drinks a Pepsi, why should not a rural child not taste Pepsi? So you know the job of the advertiser is
You're
to
bringing about an invidious divide in society, is what you're saying.
yeah. It's just that
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
bringing the product into the society.
Apart from the moral issues that we've been addressing about fairness creams and all that, I would like to ask Dr. Maya, how many of them are actually carcinogens?
All right.
And
I'll also ask Shweta to answer. Shweta, will you take that first and then go to?
Forget about carcinogens.
Because you're an
I know-
environmentalist as well.
No, carcinogens or no carcinogens, the biggest problem is that these are certain. I mean, as I will come back to the whole issue of laws and regulations that we have. Did you know that the whole? I will not take the name of the brand, but a whole consignment from India to US was rejected and sent back of a particular fairness cream because it had more level of titanium oxide than what US FDA allowed. Now there is a thing where you
That's
have to
what
go by
exactly
the
I'm saying.
here you don't even know what kind of heavy metals are there in your creams, what kind of toxins are in your creams. It's very common to have.
Sanjay, I need to agree with Shweta on this. The same brand of toothpaste which is being sold in the US, if you buy that particular brand there and the same thing in India, you would find that the two are totally different. Right from the grain texture
Because
of the
we
thing
are
down
not
to
so
the
we don't
packaging.
question as much as they do there.
Absolutely.
So we take
like what Madam was saying.
We are neglected as consumers.
Yes, give her the mic, please.
We are neglected as consumers. If consumers' words are taken more seriously, then you will be getting queries every day. I'm sure the advertisers will be
Prakash,
running
you're
away.
neglecting consumers, is what she says.
The other thing here, how many of your complaints do these companies make aware to the public? Now, if somebody says that, okay, I have had a problem by using XYZ brand of toothpaste, how much of this is made aware to the public?
Exactly. No.
None.
If there is a complaint, most companies would actually take it extremely seriously, and not because it depends on perspective whether you're looking at it as social reasons, but there is a very simple reason. As I keep saying, it's bad business. I'm saying if no company wants to take risks, especially on big brands. If this starts snowballing.
So what is on display then? Creative license, is it?
Actually,
Creative license.
I would dispute that because a few years back when Cadbury's
One
had some
exception
problem
I'm showing
with its
you.
pack, it went into a state of denial first. It said it was restricted to a certain lot and certain one particular factory. So and then what it did, slowly it completely rejigged the entire packaging. It made sure that it was totally packed, totally airtight, because they knew that there was something wrong with the packaging. But whereas the initial reaction, was
the consumers
to
back again.
deny
It
it.
brought in Amitabh Bachchan on the screen selling Cadbury's chocolate to you to build that kind of confidence back into that brand.
So again, brand ambassadors really not championing the right causes or the
I don't
brand,
think
right,
so. I
backing
don't
the right
think so.
brands.
Not just with
Absolutely not.
eatables or things, even with cars. There have been cases where cars, brand new vehicles, have blown up into flames. And what is the reason? You had a faulty battery.
Before we, in fact, doctor, you wanted to make a point about the carcinogens in the creams.
The problem is most of these ingredients are not even listed in the products that are sold. I don't understand why it's not a regulation which should say that
Saroja,
these products, ingredients
before
should
you
be
answer this, Saroja, is it mandatory to list them?
Yes,
Because
all
see, there
ingredients
is a
should be
fairness cream
listed.
which
It is
contains
mandatory.
hydroquinone.
If it is not listed, again it is unfair trade practice. They are supposed to list out all ingredients present in a product.
Doctor,
But who's to govern this?
the floor is yours.
No, I think where
Or
we
it
come
should
in.
all contain a statutory
let him
warning
answer
like
that, let him
cigarette
answer that.
smoking is injurious to health. They should all say if it doesn't agree with you, it's injurious to your skin.
I think
I
right
think
now
there
we're
should be
going-
a warning
No,
to the public.
it's a specific
absolutely
If
charge.
it doesn't,
It's
if
a
it
specific
has
charge.
hidden
It's a specific charge to whom?
components.
We perfectly
Advertisers.
agree on that.
I absolutely agree. If that is the law, it should be followed.
But it's got nothing to do with the advertising.
It's not being followed, right? None of them are listing the brand. They're listing the
No, but it's
ingredients
got
on the
nothing to
packs.
do with advertising.
No, which
It is advertising what you
No.
put on the pack. What you put on the pack is a form of advertising.
No, it's not a form of
All
advertising.
I'm saying is, if that's
It's not a form of advertising.
No, the ingredients on the pack is not
They're
a form
being displayed on the pack.
Sanjay, what I'm saying is, if that's the law, it needs to be followed. Period. There's no argument
not a-
behind
Precisely
this.
the whole thing, that at the end of the day we'll blame the government, we'll blame the
If
lack of
that's
law.
okay.
These same corporations are following
No,
these
we do
particular
have
laws
the
somewhere
law.
else. Are they not responsible corporations, or is it like in third world that they can come and make profits? If they are following the same laws, they are producing the name of the components of their products in US, what is stopping them from doing them? The lack of laws?
No, I'm
Where is their responsibility as consumers?
No. The laws are one aspect. You see the focus of the product, the target of the product. Horlicks, you saw, it helps you grow, it
Taller,
makes you
stronger,
active,
sharper,
everything.
wiser,
In
everything.
UK, Horlicks is sold as a product that gives you good sleep.
Yes.
Again,
How
talking
do
about
what
creams
do
to
you
health
make
drinks.
of this dichotomy? I can't understand.
So now you have low cholesterol
does it
health
mean-
drinks
does
for
it
children,
mean
for
if
elderly people,
company
the
is
same product.
The company is the same. So the advertiser in the UK is asked to give given a different brief, and the
Let's
advertiser
try
in
and get an
UK is
Alik
given a
Padamse again. In fact, he has to rush for something now. Alik, is this creative license? Is this creative license being stretched too far by people like you, by advertisers?
No. This is called exaggeration or hyperbole. I don't think the public is so stupid as to think that when you use Happy Dent toothpaste, that actually everything lights up. It is what we call an analogy. In poetry, the reason I joined advertising was I read one line about advertising. A great advertising man at that time said, advertising has the same license as poetry. And Lord Byron said, not she's a beautiful woman, but he said, she walks in beauty like the night. Now, that's not true. That's not true. But it's a analogy, like you say, as brave as a lion. That's also not true. Everything, almost every phrase invented in any language is not true because it takes a poetic license, and there's a thing called advertising license. But if you're making a claim, a concrete, rational claim, my car will give you 15 kilometers per liter, you've got to prove that it's right. Absolutely.
Many of them are not able to prove. Shweta, in fact, hair oils, for instance, hair oils.
One thing he said, he compares poetic license and advertising license, but poets don't sell products, okay, so.
Absolutely. Shweta, in fact, cooking oils, you have a whole lot of oils being advertised and billed as, good for the heart. You also have chocolate, for instance, they say dark chocolate is also supposed to be good for the heart. But are these research studies funded by cocoa companies? I mean, many people wonder if that's the case.
Well, I mean, until very recently, the tobacco companies were not accepting that. I mean, still a lot of tobacco companies claim that smoking does not cause cancer. I don't have to say much more than that.
Okay, you're keeping.
No, I mean, and one interesting thing about this is that I'm going to, because from the toxins point of view, we had a recent Nerolac ad which says lead is bad and it should not be in your paint, and we are selling you a product without lead. Now, I want to ask this thing. This lead was banned in paint in the West in 1960s and 70s. There is actually US EPA has a lead, prevention phasing out department which looks at lead exposures in children because it actually damages the IQ level of children. Now, does this mean, I mean, I'm just asking a question. Today in 2009 when Nerolac comes out with the ad, what are they saying? That they have been selling you this lead paint all this while? I'm sorry, now we are selling you this better. We have a USP now that our paint is free from lead and you should choose this paint. This is the whole issue about advertising. This thing, because a lot of times maybe the real facts about, maybe the ad companies are not asking for the real facts because their brief is just to sell the product, or maybe the companies are not
but he
divulging
says
the real
they're
facts.
asking, he says they even reject claims.
For instance, this example you gave, lead is bad. Is it true?
Lead is banned.
Yeah,
Lead is banned in the
yeah,
US.
so we have this paint without lead. It's a true claim?
I don't know. They're claiming that in the
Let's
product.
assume that the claim is true. Is there anything wrong in that statement?
No, what I'm saying is that, see, that also goes back to the whole thing that all this while Nerolac has been sending paint.
All right, it's about time to slide into a short break now on SL Chennai Speaks Out. Stay tuned.